Alright, so today we're going to be working on Supra, but first there's something I want to take care of on a truck that I've been meaning to take care of, and it's kind of driving me nuts right now. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to be doing today is just taking care of these battery terminals. They had these old ones on. I actually hate these, but we're going to be putting these on. I like these a lot better because they give you the little terminal posts. I already have the -1 for this side. This cable was actually terrible, was not making a good connection at all, but I'm going to take care of that real quick, and then I will get right into doing the Supra. Good to go with this battery, and we are good to go with that battery. Alright, before I actually start on the Supra, I actually had to make a pit stop to go get my calipers. So right after I fixed the truck, I messaged the guy. He said the calipers ready. I left, I took off, I went to grab the calipers, and I grabbed the blow-off valve as well. I will show you everything just in a couple seconds. Now, I will explain the color of the calipers is not 100%, but it is very, very difficult to paint match powder coat to paint. Because paint, give them a paint code, they match it up. Powder coat, there is no paint codes. It's just, here, this is the color, it's this Illusion Blueberry. So it was very difficult. He actually physically sent my blow-off valve to his paint supplier to color match as best they can, which honestly I think it came out extremely well. There's a blow-off valve, just mounted that. I'm still waiting to get clamps. I didn't have time today to grab them. Here are the calipers. Now mind you, it's very bright, so the color is going to look a little different. I mean, it's really hard to see the color, but you could see that it's kind of matched up from this to this. I'll bring it out in the light in just a second. I'm going to actually have to notch out, I think it's this side. You have to notch out a little section of metal right here. Don't know how deep it has to be, but I just remember reading that you have to notch out a section of the metal. So I'm hoping I have tools for that. I have a drill and I have a couple carbide cutters that I can just notch it out real quick. So here's the color kind of in the light. It's overcast, so you really don't get the full effect with the sun, but honestly behind the wheel this is going to look a little bit darker. I cannot wait to get these on the car. I'm going to actually start putting these on. I'm going to disassemble the old setup and probably put the rotors and the brackets on. So I'm going to get started on this right now because I can't wait. I'm very, very impatient. I also have to make a stop to Home Depot and a little bit later, probably around 5 or 6 or so. So hopefully I can get a lot done in that time frame. It's about 4 hours. The cut-in is probably going to take the longest part of it, honestly. Okay, so I got everything off. Wasn't obviously difficult. So you can already see the difference in the rotors. They're a lot bigger. Right now I sat this on there. I'm mocking it up so I can kind of draw my little notch for the caliper to cut it out. So I know there's kind of write-ups, but no one actually really explains how to do it. So right there, this spot right here in the hub assembly, that's what you're notching the caliper out for. So that's what you want to try to clear, is that, right? I mean, this isn't bolted in. I just kind of shove the bolt through. But that's exactly where you're gonna be notching the caliper out, to clear that. I didn't know that. There was write-ups that say, oh, you have to notch the caliper, but that's all they say. So anybody that's doing a big break kit for the MK4 Supras, that's what you're notching it out for. You want to clear that, because if you don't clear this and the bolt, you're not gonna be able to mount it. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm just kind of just mocking everything up so I can put the caliper on, and I can kind of mark how deep my notch has to be. It doesn't matter if you cut deeper than what it is, it's not going to matter because there's nothing back there. It's just kind of like more of a solid bracket. So I quickly just drew a reference line right here where I need to cut. As you can see, it's pretty thick metal. I started using a Dremel to see if it would get through, and that's low speed, and at low speed it gets through. Problem is the wheel is so small, the Dremel actually sits on this, so it kind of comes in at an angle. So I'm going to try my cutoff wheel. So yes, it does actually suck to kind of cut into fresh paint, but it's got to be done. I probably should have done it before, but I'm very impatient with shit. So I'm going to get the cut in, and it's pretty late out, so hopefully I don't wake the neighbors. Alright, so I ended up finishing it. I'm gonna tell you guys first off, it is not the cleanest of cuts. I know I could have done a lot better, but I wasn't gonna sit here and spend 4 or 5, 6 hours trying to get this thing to be just perfectly smooth. I don't exactly have the right tools for something like this job, but I worked with what I had. I think it looks decent at least, and you're not gonna see it. It's gonna be in the back of the car anyway, so you won't even see it. So here it is, it's notched out. Could be a little bit smoother, but I wasn't gonna sit here and grind away, because every time I grinded away, it kept grinding more and more and more. So I just left it, it cleared. I actually mocked up these, and they mocked up just fine. I may have to cut it slightly once everything else is mounted. But for now, that's good. I do have to go to Ace Hardware or something and get nuts for the actual brackets to feed. Once I feed the bolts through, there's no threading on them. The threading is in the calipers. So since it's just a bracket, I have to get a nut. I want to get that. Probably just throw some blue Loctite on there and be good to go. Alright, so spots where I cut right here, and then I cut straight up through this section right here. So all this kind of rubs because you have this tie rod end right there, so it doesn't push back any further, so you have to kind of cut like almost a direct line. I'm probably gonna have to cut, well, you do have to cut along the bottom over here as well, and then this you kind of just, you could just push this back out of the way. But yeah, you're pretty much just cutting all this section out right here, which leaves you just this as a dust shield. That's why most people just get rid of them. I don't feel like pulling the whole hub assembly, so I'm just gonna leave these on. Oh yeah, that looks fucking amazing. God, it's gonna look so damn good. Now off camera I did have to grind out a little bit more. The bottom bolt wasn't lining up and I noticed that it was still hitting, so I just took it real quick, grinded the shit out of it, didn't even care, just grinded a huge chunk out, and now it fits fine. So I'm going to repeat the process on the other side. I'm not going to film because you kind of got the gist of it.
2 hours later.
So I got the calipers both on both sides. Test fitted the wheels. Wheels don't clear.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my